Greetings and salutations, guys. I'm here to talk about Universal Fanfest Nights 2026, the second year that Universal Studios Hollywood is doing this springtime event that just runs for a few weeks. I thought last year it got off to a great start, and I'm very happy to say that once more, they deliver a lot here. Now, does it deliver as much as the first year? Well, no, because it doesn't have Back to the Future. The fact is, the Back to the Future experience last year was maybe my favorite theme park, event or experience within event, I should say, ever. It was just fantastic. I mean, has a huge Back to the Future fan first and foremost, but also just what they accomplished, that it was on the actual sets, the way that you interacted with the characters. It was so amazing. I went back 3 times. I spent more and more time there every time because you didn't have to leave. I loved it so much, and I do hope they do it again someday. When the 45th anniversary hits in a few years, I think that'd be a good time to bring it back. So they don't have Back to the Future, so this year can't live up to the first year, and yet what they do have is still really fun. For me, the main event is definitely the Scooby-Doo Meets Universal Monsters Mystery on the Backlot experience. It's the one that is closest to Back to the Future as far as being on the classic Universal backlot and using real sets with real significance, because this is where they shot a lot of those classic Universal Monster movies. And so there's just something fantastic about getting to walk around this area. I've done the VIP tour before for Universal, so I've gotten to walk around it a little bit, but here you get to spend substantial time. Again, you don't have to leave. You can just stay there for a long time if you wish and kind of interact with the characters, walk around. It's not quite as immersive as Back to the Future, because Back to the Future, all the characters were really free floating. The Scooby characters are a little more locked in. They each have a specific area they kind of stick to. But the Universal Monsters, they walk around more. They interact with you. They interact with the Scooby characters. And it's just really fun to have this mashup. I love that they got to do this. I mean, Scooby-Doo characters do appear at Universal on a regular day, but they are not Universal owned. So something about them getting to cross the IP in this way is really great. And it works. It fits with Scooby-Doo. It fits with a lot of the classic Scooby-Doo crossover episodes they did.
What do you think, buddy? Shall we howl together? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Bad idea.
I think the actors are great, and that goes for both the people playing the Scooby Gang and also the ones playing Universal Monsters.
Is he still there?
Oh yeah, he's right here.
Okay, cool.
There are some deep cut references here. Lots of really great stuff if you know both these worlds, or even if you only know one of the worlds. That just makes it really a great experience overall. It just doesn't quite have that open feeling as Back to the Future, because it's not the same area, it's not the same space. And also, even the way the finale works, where you have to wait in a pretty long line to watch the finale, and then you must leave. And that was something I didn't quite understand, that once you get in line to watch that finale, then you're going to be going onto the tram. So you kind of have to decide, am I ready to go? And does that mean I'm going to watch the end of the story and find the unmasking of who the villain is? I also really like, though, that there is the mystery element here. You can play along and try to figure out who the bad guy is, who is the person who is behind this nefarious events that are happening here on the backlot. You've got these little booklets, and you can kind of try to decipher clues. Now, I'm going to admit, we didn't do this fully. We did a little bit of it, but not the full experience, because I think if you do commit to that, then that's like going to be fully what you were doing there. And we had a lot that we were trying to accomplish in this one night. But I think if I go back, and I probably will, I'll probably really try to commit more to figuring out those clues, because if you talk to the characters, they will give you more information, and you can kind of try to figure out what you're doing here to see who the bad guy is before you get to the big unmasking at the end.
Fred, have you tried setting a trap?
Well, yeah, but we gotta trap the right person. That's why we need your help to narrow down our suspects.
Sure,
we cannot send the wrong person to jail. Again.
Now, Scooby-Doo and the Universal Monsters might have been the main event for me, but it is very clear what the huge draw is here for a lot of people in 2026, and that is One Piece, which was at Universal Fan Fest Nights last year as well, but a much smaller scale. It was basically a series of meet and greets. Well, this time they have a big show. They have taken over the Waterworld area, and where the Waterworld show is usually done is now a One Piece show. I know enough about One Piece to know that there are pirates involved, so it made sense to put it in this water setting. Here's the thing, though. I don't know anything else about One Piece, so for me, it wasn't like I could have this connection, but it was very fun to be there and see people go freaking crazy for these characters and just cheer and scream for them all. even if I didn't know what the hell was going on. There's like two really silly guys.
Let's find some potpourris! Yeah! Potpourris! Potpourris! We're looking for the potpourris! Is that a Navy warship? I hope we were spotted!
And then I like the cool guy with the cigarette and the blonde hair, and he had his leg on fire at one point while he fought. That was cool. And there's the green-haired cool guy, and he fought the girl with the glasses, and I enjoyed that too. I have no idea what's going on with the pirate clown, but my wife and I did get a big kick out of that character. So yeah, it was all kind of nonsense to me as far as what the story was, but I still enjoyed it all. I always enjoy the shows that they do at the War World stage. And seeing the audience be that wrapped up in it, even from afar, even from a distance for me, was still entertaining. But yeah, One Piece, they've got a restaurant. They have taken over the bar area that they always have at these events. So they've gone really big on One Piece, and clearly the audience is there for it because this was just a very, very popular experience. People were kind of on cloud nine walking out of the show once they'd seen it. And the other big anime presence was the Sailor Moon sort of little short movie that they had that they put in the DreamWorks theater. Sailor Moon, of course, I know the, look of Sailor Moon. It's omnipresent for years and years now, but another show I haven't seen because I'm not an anime person, but I still enjoyed it. It was in Japanese. They didn't dub it over. It was, had subtitles. I thought, though, it was an entertaining show with the Sailor Moon characters. I know this was made originally for Universal Japan, for their theme park, and now it's presented here. But yeah, another one where it was just fun to watch the audience go crazy and say the quotes along with, the characters in the animation that I didn't know. And Sailor Moon has a meet and greet that is extremely popular, always had a long line, and it was really great to just watch that and see how people were so delighted to be meeting Sailor Moon, and I thought the performer was excellent. Dungeons and Dragons Secrets of Waterdeep was back this year for pretty much the same walkthrough you had last year, which is a really good walkthrough experience, and once more kind of led by two performers that I think are great playing these characters. They really go all in on these two different characters. And that giant Xanathar created by Jim Henson's Creature Shop is still as impressive as ever. It is still really cool to see that in person. But it would have been nice if they switched this up a little bit. There were some tiny tweaks, but it was mostly the same thing you did last year. I'm a little surprised they didn't shake this up a little more. Now, am I being hypocritical? Because if they'd done the exact same Back to the Future experience, I would have welcomed it, I guess. But I think the Back to the Future experience, what makes it so interesting is it can be different each time because your personal interactions with the characters can be different, and who you just decide that you're going to follow can be different. So this one, though, you are on a specific guided story. So because it's the same one as last year, it doesn't feel as fresh and new, even though I still think it is a fun experience. And for the second year in a row, I have nothing to say about Super Nintendo World just because I couldn't make it there in time. They closed that sucker early. They had the different Yoshis, the different colored Yoshis this time. And it wasn't something that I made a priority because, it's just really a meet and greet sort of experience. So I know people enjoyed it, but I didn't make it over there. Sorry. But I did make it over to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Forbidden Forest, Search for the Hippogriff. Gonna throw in my usual disclaimer with anything Potter related these days when it comes to J.K. Rowling and the fact that a lot of people just don't want to engage with anything Potter anymore because of how she's turned out to be as a person, and I totally get that. And so if you want to skip all of this, if you went to Universal FanFest nights, but you chose not to even step foot in Wizarding World of Harry Potter, I get it. I did check this out. I did think it was a well done experience. It's interesting because it's within the confines of the Hue, for the Forbidden Journey ride. So it is literally a very tight space. It had a really long line, which I do think speaks to the fact that Potter is still a very popular property, but also the fact that they could only take through a small group at a time. It's a guided tour with someone playing a Hogwarts professor in a very small space you have to navigate, and it's dark and you have to watch your step a lot. But I think that they did a good job with what they had with the specific sort of complications they had with the space they had to have some creatures you meet along the way. The big reveal of the hippogriff at the end is really well done and impressive. It's not like the best experience. If they had more space to deal with, I think they could have done a lot more, but fitting it in, literally cramming it into where they did, I think they did a pretty good job with it. Lastly, I've got to talk about Jurassic World: A Journey Through the Eras. Strange situation here because this is a limited time event unto itself. It is not technically part of Universal FanFest nights. It is running, I think, during the day, just like a lot of things that are running during the day you can do at FanFest nights because the rides, not every ride, but a lot of the rides are open and you could go on them. But this walkthrough is something special and it's only around for a limited time. And FanFest nights is the only time a lot of people will get to experience it. And I absolutely do recommend it because it is something really cool. If you're a fan of the Jurassic Park series, if you're just even a fan of the first movie, because despite that name, they call it Jurassic World at the front, but so much of it is devoted to the original three movies, really the original movie, especially because there are characters you can talk to and interact with that are all from the first film. And so, you've got Dr. Ian Malcolm.
Dr. Alan Grant. You haven't seen him around?
I've not seen him tonight.
He's running around here somewhere. He loves seeing dinosaurs. Listen, he's like a kid in a candy shop in here.
You've got Dr. Henry Wu. You've got Richard Hammond greeting you as you walk under that iconic sign at the front. And then my favorite of all of them had to be Dennis Nedry, who insulted me to my face, and I loved it.
So say it again.
Barbasol?
No, I don't use that stuff.
You don't use that?
My mom's name was Barbara. It reminds me too much of her. She was an awful woman. Yeah. So nope, never touch this stuff. I don't even know what you're talking about, honestly.
If I see any Barbasol, I'll keep it far away from you.
Please do.
Okay.
Please do.
Definitely.
You know what else you can keep far away from me? Yourself.
Oh no! Oh no!
Yeah, it's always fun when you can get a theme park character who can be salty. It doesn't have to be so squeaky clean, so nice to you. And this guy was a great performer who I really got a blast out of watching him insult other people and him insulting me. They have all these original props and displays from the whole Jurassic series. One strange little thing here is that it's not all in on being immersive because they have these signs that tell you what movie this is from. So it's breaking the fourth wall, as it were, by saying these are movie props. But then you have the characters that are 100% committed to being in character and talking as though this were all real. So it's funny in this day and age when I think we're used to everything in theme parks becoming completely immersive, that this one walks on both sides because we're at Universal Studios and so we're seeing kind of the behind the scenes nature, but we're also getting the characters to talk to you. I didn't mind though because it had its own unique flavor, its own unique feel. Again, you were just walking around yourself. It's nothing is guided here, so it's not like the FanFest nights specific events in that way. The only thing that really bummed me out is I missed the raptors. I know that some raptors do show up at some points of the night, but I was not there for that. So again, I'm going to try to go back and hopefully see those raptors before this ends, whether I see them during the day or at night. But I think I'm going to definitely try to get to FanFest night specifically because there's something cool about experiencing the Jurassic stuff at night anyway. So yeah, enjoyed the second year of Universal FanFest nights quite a bit. Not as much as the first year, but I still think it is really fun. And I think it really speaks to how well done the event is that even though I didn't have a personal connection to those anime properties in particular, I still enjoyed sort of what they did with them and how they presented them. But going forward, it'll be always that dynamic of seeing what do they bring in, what are the outside IP. I think anime is going to continue to be a big touchstone. You can just tell clearly, obviously, I understand it's so important to so many people, even if it's not something that I really engage with. But like last year they had Star Trek. They didn't have anything on that sort of level this time. So I want to see where they go next time and how much they mix in Universal owned properties like Back to the Future last time with stuff that's just completely outside their realm. That's the thing with Horror Nights too, right? That they bring in so many outside IP that are not Universal owned. But it is a good mix this year, and I do like that the experiences aren't all the same, that they are different things you're seeing, different kinds of experiences. And I really enjoy that. To me, Scooby-Doo Universal Monsters is the clear highlight, but I really didn't have a bad experience checking out any of this stuff. And once more, they're keeping capacity relatively low. Maybe it's a little more than last year, but it's certainly nothing like Horror Nights. You can move around. The longest line by far was always for the Potter experience, which was 90 minutes at one point. So that was getting into Horror Nights terrain. Then it calmed down to more like an hour, but most of the other stuff was 20 minutes, 30 minutes, manageable. And if you go to enough of these nighttime events, that is a very nice thing to see compared to how it can be. So hopefully I'm going to get back there in the next couple weeks before this thing wraps up. But I am excited to see where they go with FanFest nights in the future, because I do think this is a really nice event that they've got going, and maybe they'll start expanding it. I think if they could add more weeks, that would be great too. All right, guys, if you can like and subscribe, I'd like that as well. And that's it for now. Take care.
You want to go long? You want one of these? How about these? 5 stars. You can go long for the football. To the track, to the wall. He is out of here. Here it is. Hello. Hey, Scooby-Doo, what's up? Hang on, I got another call. Boop. Yeah. Scooby-Doo, what are you doing on the line, man? Okay, bye. It's a hot dog, but I was acting like it was a phone.